कई मौसम अनुभव किया मैंने। हालात बदले, लोग बदले, अगर कुछ नहीं बदला तो बाबूजी की सिखाई हुई एक बात, वो कहते थे जब नींव मजबूत हो तो फिर चाहे वक्त के उतार चढ़ाव कैसे भी हो, हम उनका डट कर सामना करने में सक्षम होंगे। बिल्कुल इस पेड़ की तरह ऐसा ही एक अटूट रिश्ता जोड़ता है आपके साथ आईडीएफसी फर्स्ट बैंक। विश्वास, पारदर्शिता और सच्चाई का, क्योंकि इनको आपकी सफलता में अपनी जीत दिखती। मैं तो जुड़ चुका हूं इनके साथ, आप भी जुड़ जाइए ना। IDFC First Bank, always you first.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Outlook Business Leading Edge 2021 presented by IDFC First Bank. After a recessionary 2020, we have seen signs of recovery in the third quarter with GDP growth coming in at 0.4%. Though it's still a long way from the pre-pandemic levels, nevertheless, it's a heartening signal. Against such backdrop, it was interesting to see the budget make infrastructure spending the cornerstone of the government's capital expenditure program. We have with us today the man who has been driving the growth agenda, especially in infrastructure, since 2014, our very own Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways and Minister for MSME. Thank you, Shri Gadkari ji, for joining us on the show. We would love to hear from you, how do you see India regaining its growth momentum, especially from a situation that we had seen in 2020?
Actually, growth is concerned. The one fact is very clear that because of COVID-19, we are all facing crucial problems. Either it is government, MSME, agriculture, manufacturing sector, everywhere there are problems. But these are not the problem only related with India. It is the whole problem which is related with the whole world. So exactly, government is trying to resolve this problem. The reason for that, government has already announced the package of 3 lakh crores to MSME. We are trying our level best to how to increase the liquidity into the market. We are trying to develop, particularly the MSME, the small scale industries, where we are now trying to take good MSME, those who have good track record in bank turnover, good track record in GST, good track record in income tax, and good track record of export, and considering 5 years balance sheet, we will take the decision and giving encouragement for the MSME to raise the capital from the capital market. I am confident that in the whole world, the returns which the Indian MSME are in position to give it to the investor, exactly this is an attractive situation. And the people from UK, USA, Dubai, and across the world are really very much interested to invest in good Indian MSMEs. So this is one of the way which we are trying to create liquidity. Second thing, we have already sanctioned lot of collateral free loan to many MSMEs, out of which probably 2,15,000 crore is total disbursement is already there. So this is also going to helpful for the MSME. The most important thing is the government is doing, there are good results as far as the agriculture growth is concerned. There are some positive signs. So government has taken a lot of welfare schemes, creating more productivity in the country. So there are a good response as far as the wheat production, the rice production, sugar production, corn production. It is very, very remarkable. The problem is that more production is also a problem. Today, we increase the MSP, and our MSP for rice, wheat, and sugar, and corn even is as compared with the international price and the market price, our MSPs are high. So this is a very crucial issue we are facing. Now that the reason that government has taken a decision that we have import of 8 lakh crores of crude oil, fossil fuel. So whether it is possible for government to at least diversify, to reduce this import by 2 lakh crore and diversify this money to agriculture. We are making ethanol economy. Presently, it is the size of 20,000 crore, but we are trying to make it of 2 lakh crore. We are now planning to make bio CNG. ethanol, methanol, biodiesel, bio-CNG, electric and hydrogen fuel cell. These are the all fuel which are import substitute, cost effective, pollution free and indigenous. Exactly the way where we need to create more employment potential in the rural and agriculture area. The third important thing which is government is already doing to increasing the expenditure on infrastructure. You just take the example of ports. Actually, at the time when I was in charge for the port ministry, it was something 6 lakh crores, 16 lakh crores of Sagarmala, the scheme which we have started on the basis of the strength of 12 major port and ministry. We succeeded to start the project more than 6 lakh crore when I was the minister in charge for that field. Today, actually this capital is also increased. So we develop waterways. By waterways, we are going to reduce the logistic cost. The logistic cost, as far as comparison with the international scenario, in USA, UK, the logistic cost comes to 12%, and in China it is 8%. And Indian scenario, it comes to 16 to 18%. So we need to reduce the logistic cost. For that reason, we are making waterways, water transport, sea transport, and at the same time, we are making 22 green express highway. Just take an example of Mumbai-Delhi express highway. We have already completed 50% of this express highway. Presently, one truck take it time 48 to 52 hours from Mumbai to Delhi. We are going to cut it short by 20 hours, 21 hours. So 100% it is going to reduce the logistic cost and the fuel cost. We are now planning as a transport minister to convert transport on electricity, going for electric truck, electric mass rapid transport on electricity, creating public transport on electricity. At the same time, LNG is the fuel for the future. There is a good economics. If one diesel truck converted into LNG, the cost is 12 lakh rupees. And within 2 years, you will get back this cost. We are also making conversion of city buses, trucks, cars on CNG. There is also a big scaling. Just 1 month before, we have launched a tractor on 100% bio-CNG and making CNG from rice straw, that popularly known as Parali. Because of burning in Parali, we are facing pollution problem in Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab and Delhi area. So these are the new initiative government has already taken. We now need to increase the irrigation capacity in the country. We are on the path. Already in different states, we are giving Pradhan Mantri Sinchai Yojana. Then in Maharashtra, the Pradhan Mantri Badi Raja Yojana. Exactly, we are now resolving the problem related with the water dispute between the states. I am confident, it's a pride for me at the time when I was Minister for Water Resources. There was at least 11 to 13 problems, dispute between the state government, Punjab, Haryana, Jammu Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Himachal, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Gujarat, then Tamil Nadu. There was a problem between 2 states, 3 states. First time out of 11 problems, at that time we resolved 8 problems and start the work. So 100% this is going to resolve the water problem of Delhi, water problem of Haryana, water problem of Haryana, Punjab, water problem of Rajasthan, and even we are trying to resolve the problem of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So the way in which we are taking decision for creating most growth rate in agriculture. We are now increasing the strength we are concentrating on the field of 115 aspirant districts and agriculture, rural and tribal sector. The rural economy we need to boost. At the same time, with getting liquidity in the market, we are going to create more employment potential. So a lot of initiative as government has already taken. Presently, last 2 months, the statistic for the growth rate is now in a positive direction. I'm feeling that within 6 months, it will be definitely going to be a very, very good position. And government is trying. The first important principle of the government is to create liquidity in the market. That is very important. That the reason that finance minister has given highest priority for road transport budget, and they sanctioned 1,18,000 crore budget for us. And the finance minister telling us you increase your spending. And today that is the reason that we are already increasing the road construction in the country. I'm giving an example. When I was coming as a minister, it was coming to 12 kilometer per year, and per day it's coming somewhere 2 kilometer per day, 2 kilometer per month. So now, presently, it is the good statistics that today we have that it comes to 34 kilometer per day, and it is a record break. We are the highest, biggest, the second biggest road network in the world. And I am confident, I don't have any record about the world, but I am confident that the country which is making maximum road construction per day, 34, probably we will be the highest in the world. So this is there we are increasing, creating road infrastructure, railway infrastructure, shipping, power. In the solar power and the wind power, we are already break the records. We are leader in the solar power, wind power, the particular the green power. So 100% the way in which we are going in the direction, it is to be import substitute, cost effective, pollution free and indigenous. For economy, we need to develop employment potential. We need to reduce our import, increase our export, to increase the per capita income of the people of the country. And particularly the priority is the 115 aspirant district, the rural agriculture and tribal economy, where we need to increase per capita income more. So exactly on that line, government is working. Situation is very positive, but also challenging. And I am confident that due course of time we will succeed to make fulfill the dream of our Prime Minister to make Indian economy as Atmanirbhar Bharat. So we are on the path. Things are moving fast. Challenges are very crucial challenges we are facing because of COVID-19. But we will win in the situation, and we will win this war against COVID-19, and 100% we will win the economic war, and we will make Indian economy strong globally.
So like you mentioned that, this is a record infrastructure outlay that has been given to infrastructure, especially 1.18 lakh crore. That's the highest ever thing. So is this, this is the best that the government has done. So is this good enough to put the economy right back on the growth trajectory? Will this really be the one, I would call a booster shot that will really, get us back on the growth trajectory? What's your?
Actually, for increasing liquidity in the market, government is supporting with the capital. And now we are increasing our spending on infrastructure. It is 100% to create more employment potential, but it is going to create good liquidity in the market. The same way the railway is also working, same way the power project, the green power project, solar project we are working. And for the automobile industry is one of the important for the growth rate. For example, I am telling you the automobile industry size is 4,50,000 crore, and out of which we have 1,35,000 export. Now our two-wheeler companies like Bajaj, Hero, and TVS, they are more than 50% of production they are exporting. And now by accepting the ethanol, methanol, biodiesel, bio-CNG, electric, and hydrogen fuel cell as a fuel, and by already we have declared the scrapping policy, I am confident that we will make this automobile industry, increasing it from 4,50,000 crore to 10 lakh crore within 5 years. And that is exactly to create more employment potential and liquidity in the market. The housing industry is also facing a big problem. We need to develop more projects on particularly for economically weaker section. But still there are a lot of challenges are there.
Like you mentioned, that the auto sector is the biggest employment generator and there is a lot of opportunity. At the same time, there is this whole rising threat of disruption because the industry, after having invested in BS6 a substantial amount, now we are talking of EV also coming into play. So that's a bit of while there is opportunity, there is also a sense of threat that there could be a disruption now. So is there a policy framework that how we are going to make that transition, especially for the automobile industry, which has just invested in?
Actually, frankly speaking, if you need to create your own market in the whole global economy, this is the time for every industry to accept the good technology. Without that, you cannot do it. Now, just today I read in the paper that German government is making mandatory on every petrol gas pump that there will be an electric charging station. So you need to understand what is type of technology government is going to accept. On the basis of that, it is going to increase the export. It is going to create more market. It is going to increase turnover and profit. And 100% every time in the industry for research and development is going on. So some of the companies which are here in India, particularly BMW, Mercedes, Hyundai, then Volkswagen, the different type of all companies, they have already world market. So by accepting this BS norms, BS6 norm, we are going to create more market for our vehicle in the whole world. It is a win-win situation. It is an advantageous thing. So my suggestion is the way in which we are changing some laws in the interest of industry, in the interest of people, in the interest of the country. Ultimately, they are economically supporting to our economy to create more export and new market for all the people. So now the 70% of the auto components we are making here in India. 30% we are importing. But now I suggest them that you make it the process by which it will be make in India and made in India. There will be no import. There will be 100% all type of components with a reasonable price, with a good quality, you will get here in India. Because India has got a huge capability of talented, young, skilled manpower. We have got the raw material available. Our production cost is less. Our quality is good. So that is the reason that everywhere the sky is the limit. By accepting new technology, we are going to create new markets and creating more profits, more turnover, and more employment potential in the country. So this is not the case as you feel so.
We have seen that the private sector investment in infrastructure is at decadal lows. So how do you plan to kind of, trigger or, get private sector invest aggressively in the infrastructure space?
Actually, frankly speaking, a 1,18,000 budget from the government, we are taking 5 lakh crore from the market by different ways. And we are investing in infrastructure. So the proportion is 1:6, 1:5, as far as government investment and private investment is concerned. We are monetizing the project. We are making TOTs. We are making BOT. We are making hybrid annuity. So different type of modes. Even we are now thinking of the using of government funds, particularly our labor ministry. They have got provident fund. So I just discussed with the minister. Now they are investing the fund with 7% interest. Even in NHI, they invested 70,000 crore. So I just tell to them, because this is the money from the poor people. So we can try to make such an agreement between the labor ministry and my ministry with NHI, where we will give them at least returns more than 10%, 12%. I'm trying for getting them 12%. It is going to giving benefit to the poor people of this country. So we are working on the line that how it can be possible to give that benefit to the poor people. So we are making infrastructure by taking money, capital from the poor people, particularly the small people, into infrastructure, and we will give them more returns, and by which all projects are economically viable. Present is increased in the COVID period by 10,000 crore. Now it's going up to 34,000 crore, and 93% is fast track. So now we are going to start a GPS system. By GPS system, there will be no toll naka. Within a year, we are going to implement that. So the way in which the technology we are taking, 100% I am confident that the private people are going to invest their money. And now I'm telling you very frankly and fairly, I don't have any resources problem. I don't have. And I'm making a lot of roads. You go to anywhere in any state of India, you will see that we are making the roads. But my priority is now to taking this money and giving this return not to foreign investor or Indian investor or a big people. Just people like journalists, the people like constable, the people like peon, the people like laborers, where their money on the basis where I am trying to, actually I am getting money with 7% interest. I don't have any problem. I can get 2 lakh crore, 3 lakh crore with less than 7%. But now my interest is making of this road if I can give 10% or 12% return to the poor people. who are deposited their money bank with the 6%. So it can be my responsibility as a nation, as a government, that I'm giving more returns to the poor people. That is exactly the idea in his mind. We are working on that line.
The flip side to that is that because you are in a recovery mode, we are seeing that toll collections are significantly lower, but your expansion mode, I mean, the way NHAI is expanding is at a breakneck speed. So there is this whole gap between, there's a deficit in terms of returns.
There is no gap. I am the Janmadata of this BOT road. It is not good for me to tell me the secret for it, but I am telling you. Suppose I am spending in a road 1000 crore and monetize for 30 years. I am getting somewhere 1500 crore, 1600 crore, somewhere 1400 crore. We are never in any problem in financial position. And after getting the cost of the construction getting back, the road is not closed, the toll is not closed, toll is going on because the maintenance and for other thing. This is the policy of the government. So I don't have problem. In the next end of this 5 year, my toll income will be 1,34,000 crore per year. So we will be not AAA rating for presently we have, we will be more than that. So when I complete, we will take more national highway, we will make more construction. And I'm giving you the promise that within 5 years, when we will complete our 5 years, our road infrastructure will be equal to European standards and American standards.
Case of the PPP model, which the budget has also made that you'll try to bring in innovative models of PPP in public transport services. Can you give us how innovative will it be? Because PPP has not really been a model that's really taken off. So can you give us some sense of how innovative or how attractive will it be made for private sector players?
We need to change some policy. Presently, because of higher bank interest, and other thing is bank is not giving finance easily. It is now becoming a very complication process, and that is the reason that the people are not getting finance immediately from the banks. And that is one of the reasons that for PPA, the response is not up to the satisfaction. So now we are trying to develop new idea, and where we are working on it, still the policy is not made, that there is a GST on steel, cement, and royalty on different material. So we are now planning to make some PPP models in a way, whether it is possible, because it's a notional loss. So whether some of the roads projects, I am giving example of Hyderabad. We are making the ring road of 17,000 crore. So the land acquisition is cost is very high. So the government is giving us a special permission for GST exemption on steel and cement. And that is the reason that it's one type of investment of the state government in the projects. So we are now going on different modes and models and changing the policies. And we are trying to get response from the people for PPP mode. But one thing is correct, which we will accept, that as far as the other responses are concerned, because of the financial institution, we need their support. Without that, we cannot make success story of PPP mode. So this is one of the things where we need to work more. I am not satisfied about it, but we are trying to change all this situation, and we are supporting investors and contractors. And within 6 months, our contractors are becoming strong with the EPC mode, with the hybrid annuity mode, and they will be cash rich or companies. And then it will be easy for them to invest in PPP mode.
So will the DFI, the proposed DFI Development Financial Institution, be a major support, in this whole endeavor of yours?
Actually, we are not very much depending upon that. It is taking too much time to take the decision. My philosophy is I like people who can get the things done. I dislike delays. I dislike the people who are not taking decision. I don't want to deal with them. The people who are transparent, time-bound, result-oriented, and corruption-free, the system is good. In the dealing with their system, they are getting a lot of approvals, year-to-year discussion. So my preference is, if they are ready to invest, they are welcome. If they don't want to invest, no problem. I don't have any problem about investment. There are people are already standing in the queue who are ready to invest in NHI. I am getting now, I'm giving you an example. We have just received the offer of 30,000 crore from the Indian banks. Our requirement is only for 10 crores in NHI, and we get the offer of 30,000 crore. You understand? When I am getting money immediately from the market, what is the interest I have to waste my time for years to year on discussion and thinking? So they are good people. My best wishes with them. But presently, if they are ready, they are welcome with the fast track decision making process. Otherwise, thanks.
Do you see more stress in the MSME space?
MSME, one fact is clear that because of COVID-19, the small MSME peoples are under stress. And the most worst situation is the crucial core material which required for the MSME steel and cement. The way in which they increase the prices without any reason, it is also going to create a huge problem for MSME. The steel price is going up to 64,000 rupees per ton. Presently, the iron ore price is 4,000 crore and the steel price is 46 and 48,000 crore. The same way the cement, without there is rise in labor rates, without rise in royalty, without rise in power, the rates are so high. So this is a really not good condition which is supporting to our growth. Reasonable profit is no problem. Everyone has right to take the reasonable profit. So that is the reason that we need to think about export import side, because in the export market, because of steel price also, the MSME is facing crucial problem. When the COVID is a problem, the steel price is a problem. So this is the time that 100% we need to resolve problems of small MSME, village industry, the handloom, handicrafts people, the khadi people on priority basis. We are trying for that, and I'm confident that in due course of time, 100% we will be out of problem.
Do you think the industry is listening to your plea that, decent amount of profit is fine, not excessive?
Actually, we have now, I'm talking with the concerning people also. In this period, actually the 15 million ton of steel pallet, iron ore pallet is exporting. Now this is somewhere when there is a shortage in the country and the price are higher side. This is the time that we need to think on the line that how to control the prices in the country. So I'm representing all the thing to the concerning authority. Then regarding iron ore export also, pig iron and other thing also, we need to first resolve the problem of Indian industry. And after that, they will take reasonable price, a reasonable profit. I don't have any problem. But the exorbitant increase in the price is going to create a lot of problem. Somewhere government need to interfere in it and to resolve this issue.
Given their strategic importance as the country's biggest employment generator, what all steps do you think will be needed to revitalize the sector?
Some of the thing where we need to do more work. Just you take the example of Alibaba portal. Their turnover is 6 times more than Indian budget. The Amazon, they have got good turnover. And Amazon has exported 70,000 crores of material of MSME from India. Now we are planning to make our portal for Khadi Gramodyog, village industry, MSME, and for the world. And that portal will be very, very useful. Now our idea is to with tender process to take a private company, expert company, that will completely handle all the things and they will give profit to us. So on that line, we are working on that. And I am confident that our portal will resolve the marketing problem and our all products will be available in the whole world. We are encouraging handloom handicrafts. Our village industry turnover with Khadi Gramodyog is 88,000 crore. And really it's my most important priority to make this turnover up to 5 lakh crore within 5 years. This is going to create more jobs in the rural area, more liquidity, economic growth, and increasing in per capita income and contributing in GDP growth. And that is exactly my highest priority for development of economic growth in agriculture, rural, tribal, and 115 aspirant districts, those who are socially, economically, educationally backward. This is the inspiration.
On that optimistic note, sir, thank you. Thanks a lot for this great session. Thank you, sir, for